It is.
All right, it's official now. We're recording. Welcome, everyone. Whoever's watching, welcome to reprogramyourself.com. Tonight, I have the Inspiration Network with me. It's a mastermind group where we actually try to get together once a month and study an inspirational book or a book on personal development. For the next few months, we're going to be meeting up at least once a month, and everybody's invited to join in. We're going to be discussing Tony Robbins' new book, Money Master the Game: 7 Simple Steps to Financial Freedom. And tonight, I have with me two of my best friends. I have Rob with me from Stuart, Florida, and I have Rolando with me from Orlando, Florida.
Go
And
Pats!
there you go.
I gotta get that in there.
So what's up, guys?
What's
Oh,
happening?
this just got real formal. What happened?
I know, right? Well, that was the official introduction. That's done with. We can go back to what we're doing.
Awesome. Awesome. I want to get comfortable here. No.
I gotta sit up and get all serious now.
Uh,
Okay, here we go.
Well,
yeah, no.
go ahead.
I was gonna say, going back to that book, we were kind of talking, we were touching on this earlier before you hit the record button. We're talking about Tony Robbins and how anytime that guy speaks, I listen. He's got some really good information. It's always valuable. It's priceless. You could the thing about life is that to everyone, I'm their student. Everybody has something that we could learn from. And Tony Robbins, one of the biggest blessings that he has is that he has the connections. He knows the people, and he could just get in front of them and ask those questions that we would like to ask, but we just can't. So this book is a great example of that, of him just getting in front of the people that we don't have access to, and he does. So works out good.
Cool.
Good deal. So what do you got from the book so far, Esteban?
Well, I was looking at my highlights here. Been reading the book. Um, just started getting into it, but the main thing that I've been getting it is somewhere in there he talks about shoulds and musts. I don't know if you guys heard him talk about that a little bit, but he's done this in his other work also, where he talks about one of the difference between getting what you want and having it is making something a must. Making something a must in your life. And I think that's a stage where I'm at right now. Is I must have financial freedom. I want to have the freedom to not worry about bills. Like he says in the book, what if you didn't have to worry about a mortgage, and car payments, all your basics, electricity, water bills. If all of that was covered, how would your life change? And that's a must for me right now. I really want to have that. I want to be able to say, you know what, I don't have to worry about money. I don't really have to work right now, but like he says in the book, when you don't have to work, that's when you actually begin to work because you start doing the things that you love to do. So that's what I'm excited about reading the first section of the book, is that he's basically preparing us for that. He's going to give us information throughout the book, and obviously there's a plan in the book, or different plans that we could follow, where we'll be able to make money work for us instead of us having to work for money. So that's what I'm getting from the book right now.
Yeah.
How about you? I'll throw that question back at you, Rob. What about you? What are you getting from the book so far?
I think, I agree with you. It has a lot to do with just making a decision. Say, okay, this is just what I need in my life. I don't want to have to deal with money. I don't want to have to deal with that. And that's my motivation. It's my drive, and it's actually been captivating me lately. I've find myself more driven and motivated in the work that I'm doing, and I'm producing, and I can see it. And um, I think like to get it out of the way so that I can enjoy the things in life. It's the connections with people, the experiences in life, and and trying to find that balance being present and enjoying the here and now, but also trying to knock that out and get it out of the way and find that independence and find that freedom financially, because it's not the most important thing, but when it's not something you have to worry about, it gives you so much freedom to enjoy, all that life has to offer. And I think, when I was in my early 20s, I was incredibly motivated to make a bunch of money. And honestly, and truth be told, I had no idea what the hell for. Culture, society told me to do it. I did it, and I made money. I had new vehicles. I had real estate. I had all those things at a very young age, but I really didn't have the why figured out. And now I know why I'm driven to define that independence and freedom. And I guess it really, one of the things I'm learning from the book, and it's kind of a repeat. I read Your Money or Your Life a handful of years ago, and it's the same thing. It's not that you have to make a lot of money. You just have to be intelligent with the money you make, and you do have to find that discipline to take what you put aside and learn how to get it to work for you, even while you're sleeping.
Wow.
So I guess that's kind of basic gist I'm getting from it, but it's working. I feel driven.
Well, it's interesting that you bring up a very important point, the why, the reason why. And I remember when I was studying, Tony Robbins' work, how do you change a should to a must, in your life? Let's say you should make, a certain amount of money, but you never make it because it's a should. But you always make your must. Everybody always makes their must. I must make, whatever it is for you. In my case, it might be, $3,500 or whatever, But I always make that, but I never really go above that. But how do you change that? And he says, to change a should into a must, you have to understand why. You have to know why you want it, So he does say, reasons come first, answers come second. You have to know why. If you know why it needs to change from a should to a must, and you have plenty of reasons, emotional reasons, that you really connect with those reasons, they compel you, they move you, then your shoulds become a must eventually, But you have to make a conscious decision and understand the reason why. So Rolando, it's your turn, buddy.
Well, so far what I'm gathering is, and I mentioned this earlier too, is that it's a good resource and a good summary of everything coming together. Putting all the pieces and the components together. My background is in the financial world and as a stockbroker, so I've kind of firsthand have seen that what he's talking about, where really the financial industry isn't in it to help the average person. The stockbroker is there for that paycheck, and everyone else in between, and so the reality is that it puts the responsibility on the individual to really to plan things out. When it comes to money, we have to take ownership of that. We can't rely on someone else or a financial advisor or or mom and dad, or we have to take ownership, and we have to really dive into this, and dissect it and learn it for ourselves. But what's awesome is that every step along the way of this book, it sounds like there's choices, there's options. Just going to cut through, just a shortcut, which is needed. It's unfortunate because, with all these ups and downs that we've experienced in the economy, especially, as recent as in 2008 with the market crashing, people, wealth has been wiped out. And there's reason to believe that it's not going to get any easier. I actually see this, time and time again, where it just doesn't seem like the economy is really recovered. It doesn't seem like the economy is in any better shape than what it was in 2008. It's hard to find work. It's hard to find, So one, like you guys were talking about, to touch back on what you guys were saying, if you know your why, then yes, that's gonna help you and establish you, because you start there. That's the foundation, and then of course, building on that, adding those other components to building blocks to build on. Because in the end, your why is really what's going to make you happy. It's what's going to give you the drive. It's what's going to give you the passion. Anything else is not. So that's a good starting point. Getting that determining the why, determining your core values, getting into the right mindset. Mindset is so important in this. So.
Yeah, the mindset, that's key. And I think the cat was agreeing with you, Rolo. I heard the cat.
Yeah. I think so too.
Rob, was that your cat? Where's your cat?
That's not my cat.
Kino.
That's Rob's cat.
No, I heard it.
That's hilarious.
Cat was
I love
agreeing
it.
with you, bro.
Coming back.
So yeah, I think the first section he really tries to pre-frame us to trust him, and like you said, Rolo, he has access to all these people, and basically that's what this book is about, is him interviewing the wealthiest people on the planet and getting their plans and making their financial plans accessible to us. How they manage money and how they do it, and how they invest money, not just manage it, but how they invest it and what they do with it, and how we can at least attempt to do the same thing at a lower scale, I guess, So yeah. I haven't gotten to that part yet, but.
Yeah, no, it's one of those things where like he goes into some of the facts that I like he goes into the numbers of how the majority of Americans are so ill prepared for retirement, and it's unfortunate because if you go back into history and you kind of look at this from a historical standpoint, we're coming out of an industrial era, and we're coming out of an era where like kind of like you had the heydays, the good times right after the Industrial Revolution. There was a lot of production. America was booming. The economy was thriving, but now all of that has kind of gone by the wayside. The Industrial Revolution is dead, and it's really about your skills, your own skills, and and really, I think it more comes down to the power of the mind is really the type of economy that we're in right now. Like the skill sets, the physical skill sets. It's not so much that; it's more, having the thought process, having your mind in place, in the right place, and really being able to maneuver through all the ups and downs and the changes that are going to happen. And it's a difficult time, but at this, it's nice to know that with a book like I'm actually really excited to get through the entire book because it is a good map, to help us, get through it.
Have any of you used the app? There was like an app that supposedly came with this book. I haven't registered for it yet. Did any of you guys do that?
Yeah,
I used it.
You used the app?
Tell us about it, Rob.
Yeah, tell us, because I don't know anything about it.
It just basically they ask you some questions, you punch in some numbers. So first I was trying to do it like honestly, but I mean there's so many variables that change, especially where I'm at. I'm kind of starting at the bottom again, and I know I have a tendency of moving up quick. Once I say, okay, this is where I'm going to plant my feet, I can get momentum pretty fast. And honestly, to tell you, Rolo, I've actually seen a lot of improvement in the economy from my standpoint, kind of being on the construction side of things.
Yeah.
I'm seeing a lot of work reveal itself. I mean, we're actually getting real busy real fast. I mean, I've only been back at it for about 3 weeks, but the app, you plug in some numbers and it basically lays it out for you. It says, okay, at the rate you're going, if you do this, you're going to have financial independence at age 39. You're going to have financial freedom at age 60. It kind of lays it out for you like that. It's good. It's a useful tool. So I actually threw some theoretical numbers out there. Okay, let me see if I can get my revenue up to this and keep my lifestyle at this. I'm making 120 and I'm still living off a $25,000-$30,000 lifestyle. how quick can I get that financial freedom? You know, I've played with it. It's kind of neat. It's kind of fun. You sit there and do it. If I do it this way, I could have total financial freedom by age 44.
No
I
kidding.
mean, how could you beat that? You know,
Yeah.
44 years old, don't have to worry about a damn thing. You know, I could take a 10-year retirement if I wanted to, and then go back to work because I still got time.
Wow, that's pretty neat. Okay, so how do we access the app? Do you remember how you did it?
Yeah.
Is it on
You
the
could
book?
go. There's a link right out of the book. That was how I did it, but it's somewhere on his website, Tony
Oh,
Robbins' website.
okay.
Like Master the Game app is what it is. I'm sure that'll probably get you to that side page.
Okay, cool. So those of you that are watching, there's the app. Cool. A couple things. It's interesting, how you're saying different ages. I'm 35 right now. Rolo, how old are you?
34.
You're 34. Okay, and
Yeah.
Rob,
22.
you got the. Get the fuck out.
You're only as
I
old
know
as
you're
you
the
are.
youngest though. Rob's the youngest. How old are you?
33.
33? Okay, so 33, 34, 35. Okay. I
There
don't
you
feel
go.
that old. So, I was listening to Earl recently this week. I'll send you guys the link. I'll put it on this video too later on or whatever. But it was a video that I came across as I was looking, um, just doing a little bit of inspirational video watching. I sometimes do that to get inspired. And there was this video where Earl says that by age 65, this was in his time, and that was a long time ago. He says that people by age 65, they didn't really have financial goals. By not having a goal and not focusing on it, people were retiring without making any money. They really didn't have any money. Yearly they were making like 3,000 a year or 5,000 a year. Obviously this was a long time ago, but it was still not enough money or not a lot of money. And he said to do an experiment and go around your neighborhood and just ask people through 2 or 3 questions and ask them, what's your financial future looking like for 15 years? Are you saving any money? Are you investing anything? And most people will look at you and be like, this first of all is none of your business, and second of all, they don't really have a plan, So I think part of it is the psychology of it, which Tony Robbins brings up in this book, is there is a psychology, there is a mindset, and there's a way of thinking about money that we have to start adapting. And I think this book is going to help us get there, where we have to view, also planning and goal setting, having goals. I think that's key. So what I want to do now, if you guys have the book around, whatever, if there's anything that stood out that you guys want to kind of put on this video, we got about another 10 minutes or so for this mastermind. There was one thing that I really stood out that I highlighted here, and it was, let's see if I can find it.
Let me find mine as well.
Well, like you said, the book Think and Grow Rich always comes, in all these books.
Yeah.
We were talking about that before the call, that everybody always quotes Napoleon Hill's famous Think and Grow Rich. And, that was brought up in this book, Money, Master the Game. So definitely that's something we should look into, and maybe that could be the next book we do.
That should be, yeah, because it seems like that's the core, the basis of most if you look at all these gurus out there, these experts, they always give credit to that book. It's really the book that changed their lives. Earl Nightingale. You were talking about Earl Nightingale. Earl Nightingale. That was the book that changed his life. That was the book that changed Jim Rohn's life. That was the book that changed Tony Robbins' life. So it's gotten a lot of press from these guys that have been there and done that. So it's really neat to see that.
Well, this is what he says on the book. He says he discovered, and he's referring here to to Napoleon Hill, he discovered that they all shared a relentless focus on their goals and a combination of burning desire, faith, and persistence to achieve them. Hill's message that ordinary people could overcome any obstacle to success gave hope to a generation of readers struggling through the Great Depression. Think and Grow Rich became one of the best-selling books of all time. So, yeah, that's definitely a classic. We definitely got to do one. We got to do a mastermind on it. So,
Yeah, something that stood out earlier, because you were asking something that stood out in the book, was when he was going through. I'm looking it up right here. The power of compounding. I don't know if you guys have kind of have gotten there, but he talks about that in the first chapter, and it's one of the greatest. Even Albert Einstein. He quotes Albert Einstein saying that it is one of the greatest inventions for the human race. Is this idea of saving and the power of compounding and how most people don't understand that, and that's like one of the first things that he really dives into. He gives a little story, a little analogy of the one person starting at an early age and just letting the money compound. Someone later, and that person, the one that started later in life, since they had a shorter time frame of their money compounding, didn't have quite as much money as the person that started and stopped at an early age. So it's just really neat. That was one thing that stood out for me was how I'm very familiar with the concept of the power of compounding, and he just goes into it. It's pretty cool.
Oh, go ahead, Rob.
One of the features of that app, it actually shows you if you delay, this is how much money you're losing, because of the compounding factor. It says if you wait, if you don't start doing it now, this is how much money you're going to lose the first year, the second year, the third year. Every time you delay, this is how much you're going to lose.
It shows you the pain.
Yes, it shows you the pain.
Exactly.
Talking about compounding, I don't know if you still have that book, Rob, or if you gave it back to me. I think you gave it back to me.
I think I gave it back. The pipeline.
The parable of the pipeline, which it has a really cool story in there about compounding, and it basically is a chessboard, and there's a story about this Chinese emperor. Or something like that. I don't remember. But, he put a grain of rice. As his reward, he wanted a grain of rice compounded on each box of the board. And then when you did that, it was like a huge number, impossible for the king to. And the king thought, oh, that's no problem. We could do that. And when they brought the mathematicians, he compounded. If you compounded, just a grain of rice on each box of the board, it turned out to some crazy figure. You didn't have enough rice to give the man, at the end of the board, because it compounded. That's the force of compounding. And if we could really, to me, part of this mastermind is my commitment, my personal commitment to living life using two concepts: compounding and leverage. Because right now I feel like, the jobs that I do and the things that I do for money, they're leveraging me, right? And I get paid just a little bit for what I do, But they're leveraging my skills, my knowledge, and everything that I do. I'm the one being leveraged. I'm the one that's being basically used instead of me using my time wiser, investing, and then earning money, leveraging money, and compounding money. So that's one of the questions, that I have is, how can I do that? How can I compound money and how can I leverage money so that eventually it's not leveraging me, but I'm leveraging it. So definitely one of the answers. I can't wait to get that answer.
Yeah, it's basically, stop for all of us to stop trading our time for money, because that's the problem, is that time is actually one of the most valuable assets that we all have. and it's an even playing field. It's an even playing field for everyone. We all have 24 hours in a day, 7 days a week. If we can't master time, time time escapes us, and I think that's one of the things. Actually, just today I was talking about it with Becky. Is that I kind of came to an aha moment myself, because if you think about it, what is compounding interest? It's just time, money invested over time, and it's compounding. Um, but it's this element of time. We're only given so much time on this earth, and we got to make the best use of it. And the aha moment that I came to is, I feel that if I could master my time, if I could become, more efficient, more productive in the time that I do have, if I can be, better time management wise, I think, like it'll help in being able to invest accordingly, in being able to, not trade my time for money. I need to feel the pain in that area, knowing that letting time escape me is a very painful thing. If I can make every minute count and make it the most productive time, be very productive at that time, I think that's priceless, because time escapes you, and then you're looking back 60 years from now, and you're just like, damn, what happened with my time,
Right.
And so I think that's something that I think that, like, I would like to focus on and really master and but going back to this compounding interest stuff, um, I found that quote over here. Warren Buffett is actually quoted saying, my wealth has come from a combination of living in America, some lucky genes, and compound interest. I mean, this is a guy that invented money practically. Warren Buffett, everybody wants, but yeah, compound interest is just a powerful tool to have in your back pocket if you know how to use it and not lose it. In that story about the two brothers, it was actually two brothers. One invested a total of 80,000, and the other invested a total of 100,000. One just had invested at an early stage, and another later in life. So one had a longer time frame. The one brother, it says here, who started sooner and invested the least money, had a 600% rate of return above the brother that started later and that invested for a longer period of time. So compounding interest is definitely the wealth creator. It's been the wealth creator for every wealthy person on this planet. Compounding interest has really been their key.
I had since I started reading this book, I've actually talked to a few different people. I'd consider them pretty financially comfortable. I'd say from ages 55 plus. I talked to, I think, of 4 different people about this topic. I approached them like, you seem like you're pretty financially comfortable. And they said, yeah, and I'd get to talking to them about it a little bit, and everybody had their own little spin on things, how they did it, and but I just out of curiosity, just because it's kind of where I'm at, I asked when they started. All 4 of the people that I spoke with, like I said, ranging from ages 55 to 85, they all started in their 30s. Just figured I would share that. I thought that was interesting.
Well, no, it's interesting that you say that, because I just thought when Earl said, at age 65, and I thought about that. I was like, crap, I'm 35.
Mm-hmm.
That's just, if you think about it, it's another 35 years, And I thought about it. I was like, crap, I've already lived 35 years, and I'm pretty much not the wealthiest person in the planet or in my family, or I'm not,
Mm-hmm.
At least in my family, I'm not. And I'm like, this is not good. I kind of still live paycheck to paycheck, if you think about it. And, or, even though I'm not employed by the clock, whatever it is that I make, that's it, I live, I pretty much use everything that I create. If I make a certain amount of money, I use it up. And then I make it again, and then I use it up. But it's always zero at the end,
Yeah.
And I have to go back and recreate it. And then that number, when you when you're in your 30s, I think you start thinking about the future, and you start realizing, you're only here for borrowed time. We don't live
Sure.
forever here on this planet. And what do I want to do for the rest of my time here? And I think that's what he talks about it way in the beginning of the book. He says, you don't really want the money, you want the feelings of what you feel.
Freedom.
Yeah, right. You want the
Yeah.
feelings of what money, can give you. I don't know how he puts it exactly, but
He emphasizes on freedom.
which is freedom, right? He does. He does emphasize that. Oh, here it is. He says, what we're really after are the feelings, the emotions we think money can create. The feeling of empowerment, of freedom, security, of helping those we love and those in need, of having a choice, and of feeling alive. But having a choice goes back to freedom. Everything at the end goes back to freedom. So that's
That's
really
true.
what we want. We want to be completely free from having to do tasks that we don't like so we can get paid. You know, we
That's true.
we really want to get out of that mindset. And like you said, Rolo, you said the key is to get out of that. How did you put it? I forgot how you said it.
Trading time for money.
There you go. That's it.
Yeah, trying to get out of the rat race. It's just a constant little wheel like hamsters. Just spinning that wheel, and it's not a good place to be, man. It's not the way I want to go out. It's not the way I want to go out. Not at all. I want to go out with a margarita in one hand, smoking a cigar on the other, in my bathrobe, on the beach somewhere. Just kidding. No, I
I
just
like it. I like it.
I
That's a
want
nice fantasy.
that. No, but I mean, it's one of those things that you just kind of, I don't know. I'm at an age 34 where I feel like, yeah, that my time has come, and looking back at life, I've had a lot of opportunities, a lot of missed opportunities, a lot of failed opportunities. And you just fail forward, you don't. There's no, you get nowhere without. I mean, failure is a very important part of the learning process, but to learn from them, because the thing is that one thing is to have a failure and not to learn from it, but a failure that actually you can learn from is actually a success. And so, it's just one of those things where going forward, I definitely want to, learn from those failures and get out of that rat race.
That's the key, man.
No
So,
more.
Yeah, yeah.
so
No
closing thoughts.
way.
So everybody's into the book. That's cool. I didn't really know if the book was gonna be interesting or not. I just, I'm a fan of Tony Robbins' work, so I got it. And I appreciate you guys joining me, you know, in this journey because I have, like I said, I'm committed to learning and living life on compounding and leveraging money, not the other way around.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's great. Yeah, I'm ready to stop trading time for money, and obviously we need some tools. We're gonna need some knowledge, and so we pretty much got through section one in the book. I guess the next section, um, when we meet again, we're gonna meet maybe 30 days from
Okay.
today. Uh, so I guess section two is chapter 2.0 till 2.9. I think in about 30 days we could do that, right?
Yeah. And then, of course, we got overachiever over here, Rob. He'll probably have written a book by the time we get back. He would have read another 5 books and written a book, and then he'd be like,
He'll be writing his own book in between.
I know. We'll be
You
reading
want me
his
to tell
book.
you how chapter 2 goes?
But yeah, my only closing thought would be I was actually this. There's this quote here by Epictetus. Epictetus is one of those Greek guys, one of those old-time philosophers. I don't know how to pronounce it, but he says, "No person is free who is not master of himself." You know, you can't master the game if you haven't mastered yourself. If you haven't if you haven't, if you're not in the right mindset, you're 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 not gonna get it, And I think that that's very key is that we're in the right mindset and that we're open to this notion that yes, like I can be wealthy. Yes, I can have the financial freedom, and I'm deserving of it. I'm worthy of it, and my time has come. You know, if we can have that mindset and not feel like limited, not feel like not get in the way of ourselves, and hold ourselves back, I think that we'll be in the right place.
Awesome, cool, man. And I think part of the key, it's holding each other. I don't want to say accountable, but having, that, it feels good to feel like I'm part of a family. That I'm not doing this alone. That I know I got my brothers, doing it with me. We're all really working on this together. Even though we all may go about it different ways, we still come back together and we're encouraging each other. We're giving each other's ideas and we're supportive of each other as as we do this. Because it sucks to do this alone too.
It does. Oh yeah, man. It's a lonely road out there, man, and you don't want to go it alone.
Well, especially you start talking about compounding and leverage,
It's like,
and everybody's like, "What the hell are you talking about?" You're not gonna trade time for money. What the hell are you gonna do? It's like everybody is pretty much out there trading time for money. And you start talking like this, you sound like a crazy person. You know what I mean?
The goal too is that you don't want to get to the end of the road and be by yourself at the end of the road. You know what I mean? You want to bring as many people there with you. It's like it's a lonely place to be at the top. It's like I don't want to be there by myself. I want to have everybody that's in my crew there. Everybody that I love, that I cherish. I want Rob. I want Esteban there. With the margaritas and the cigars and the bathrobes with me,
That's right. Don't forget the cat.
It's like, I like how Earl Nightingale says, like it's the air is cleaner at the top, It's easy breathing, It's like
not as crowded at the top.
It's not as crowded at the top, So it's like let's get there, guys. Let's get there.
Yeah, so let's hurry up and do this, man. I've been studying all this stuff since I was a teenager, man. I'm tired, I'm tired of studying it. I'm ready to apply it, So I guess it took my mind that much, that much processing to finally say, all right, you better make this a must now and do it.
Yeah.
So, well, thank you guys. Go ahead, Rob.
I was going to say, I got a closing thought. It's very relevant to what Rollo had said. You talk about you put some time into it, and I think I've been working on my inner dialogue for about 10 years, and this was kind of an aha moment for me, whereas I realized I have my inner dialogue is so much different than it was 10 years ago. I spend more time building myself up than I do breaking myself down. I spend more time, telling myself that it is possible, that it is okay, that I do deserve it. Very humbly and very healthfully, but I guess that's my closing thought is just pay attention to the inner dialogue. What is your inner dialogue saying? And and I think it's an ongoing process, but be aware of it, pay attention to it, and make sure it's doing you good and not doing you harm.
It's true. That's good.
That's powerful, man.
That is powerful.
I'm glad you share that because I think that's part of earning more. Is believing that you deserve more, and that you can do it. So those two things, like Rollo said, that you can do it and that you deserve it. You said that earlier today, Rollo, and I wanted to bring that out in the conversation. And the inner dialogue, definitely key. You got to build yourself up. And I think part of being part of a group of supportive friends, this is what this mastermind does, and I want to invite as many people as possible to join us. Anybody that's interested in understanding, how to make money work for you, how to become financially independent, watch our videos because that's the question we're going to be answering is how can we do this in our lives? How can we become financially independent? And everybody's gonna have different ways to go about it, because everybody, everybody has different desires and likes and things that they like and things that they'll do. But at the same time, we want to model some people. We don't want to we don't want to recreate the wheel. There's certain things that we have to have in order, and that's what we're all gonna do the same. So again, thank you guys for coming out tonight. I know, Rob, you were tired. Rolo, I know you're going to school. You're doing a lot of things. You're juggling a lot of things, and I'm juggling, the 2-3 businesses that I do here. And just to, take some time in the night just to connect and say, all right, we're on the path. Even though we're tired, we're exhausted. There's some sacrifices that we have to make.
Yeah.
But you know what? We're gonna do it because we're committed. And I think that's the key. I think part of it is being committed means you got to make time for it. You got to make time for it, that's why I love you guys for this. So anyone that's watching, feel free to reach out to any of us. You can contact any of us by going on my website, reprogramyourself.com. The website is live. Fill in the form, name, and then you send me a message or whatever. If you guys want to join us on the Masterminds, just fill in the form. I'll send out the announcements when we're going to meet again. We're going to be on Section 2 next time we meet in February, probably towards the end of February. We'll be meeting again. Section 2, Tony Robbins, Money Master the Game. And just in case, I'm not affiliated with Tony Robbins. I'm not making any money. We're just studying his book, and we're doing it through Google Hangouts. Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Rolo.
All right.